Stand up, don't drown in the dust. The land of the sand one's a prize on your hand. Hold tight, don't lose your way. Chasing for the glory to the end. Don't run, be the one. Bring all your dreams to the glorious kingdom. Are you hearing the voice of Seth call your name? Lost in the storm, hold your face and sword. Go fight a secret, I win this war. We rise up higher, reach for the sky. Hold on to your weapons with pride. We rise up higher, conquer the ark. Get ready to fight for your life. We rise up, climb on, choose the highest ground of the pyramid of life. Let the spirit get you high, 'cause we are the kings, we are the queens. We will rise up to the top. Stand up, don't draw in the dust. The land of the sand knows the answer in your head. Hold tight, it's worth the try. Chasing for the glory in the fight. Don't run, you're the one. Bring all your dreams to the glorious kingdom. Are you hearing the voice of Seth call your name? Lost in the storm, hold your face and sword. Go fight a secret, I win this war. We rise up higher, reach for the sky. Hold on to your weapons with pride. We rise up higher, conquer the ark. Get ready to fight for your life. We rise up, climb on, choose the highest ground of the pyramid of life. Let the spirit get you high, 'cause we are the kings, we are the queens. We will rise up to the top. Even when you fall, sticks and stones may break your bones, but you are stronger than the heaviest waves. The earthquake won't shake you, 'cause you are the king, you are the queen, you are the truth of the land. You rise up higher, reach for the sky. Hold on to your weapons with pride. You rise up higher, conquer the ark. Get ready to fight for your life. You rise up, climb to the highest ground of the pyramid of life. Let the spirit get you high, 'cause you are the king, you are the queen. You will rise up to the top. Stand up, don't drown in the dust. The land of the sand one's a prize on your hand. Hold tight, don't lose your way. Chasing for the glory to the end. Don't run, be the one. Bring all your dreams to the glorious kingdom. Are you hearing the voice of Seth call your name? Lost in the storm, hold your face and sword. Go fight a secret, I win this war. We rise up higher, reach for the sky. Hold on to your weapons with pride. We rise up higher, conquer the ark. Get ready to fight for your life. We rise up, climb on, choose the highest ground of the pyramid of life. Let the spirit get you high, 'cause we are the kings, we are the queens. We will rise up to the top.
What is going on, governors? Chiscool here, and today we are casting Ark of Osiris League. The top 8 is finally here. 1V versus 1021. And joining me in the caster's booth in just a moment, we'll have Dragothian here as well to cast. It's been a crazy season so far, and I'm starting to jokingly call this match the win for skin, because if you win this match, you get the legendary city theme that gives training speed. Not gonna lie, I'm pretty hyped to see who is able to make it that far and who will advance into our final four. But let's jump in to the cast with Dragothian. Let me add him in now. Hey, Drago, how's it going, man?
Hey, man. Hey, man. Oh, look, man. It's so early. It's so early where we're at in the States. But I got to tell you, I woke up and I was excited to cast this match with you. 1V versus 1021. Can you believe it? These two teams are powerhouses. 1021 a little bit more under the radar than obviously a 1V. With the name of 1V, you know, we're talking about two teams that could literally win it all. These two teams are here for a reason. There's only 4 matches per realm. One's already happened in Realm of Bastet, but everybody else is a clean slate. Really looking forward to seeing who wins this matchup. This is going to go down to the wire, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think this is a really exciting matchup for a number of reasons. First of all, there seem to be a lot of Oryx and coins placed on behalf of the players for 1V. But I think it will be a mistake to underestimate 1021, who had 2 teams make it very far in Osiris League, as did 1V, by the way. They had multiple teams that made it very far, different teams from the same alliance, right? So we're talking about kingdoms that have access to a lot of players with high-end gear and high-end commanders, and I'm saying all of that to emphasize the ability to run really, really, really good practice matches. And it might sound like practice matches, but let me tell you. Practice, come on. You know, practice makes a really big difference. The more games you play, the better you get. So the ability to run as many practice matches as you want with your own kingdom is honestly a big, big deal. So how will this match pan out? I don't really know. But in the spirit of keeping with the tradition we started literally only last week, Drago, what do you think the spread is going to be for this match?
So we're continuing.
How much do you think one of these teams is going to win by? What's the point differential going to be between the team that advances and the team that does not?
I think the over-under is going to be $5,000. I think
5K
that's where the
points,
line's going to be. Yeah, 5K is where it's going to be at. It's going to be partially part of an arc, and then some provisioning coming in at the end. I think that's going to be whoever pulls this out. They're going to get that, you know, portion of the arc and then some provisioning to win it.
All right, so you're taking 5K or less, and I'm taking over 5K? Is that?
I mean, I think I would feel comfortable with that bet.
Okay. Okay. Here we go. So I think I do generally agree with Drago here that at this stage of the game, these matches are probably going to be pretty close. I think that the likelihood of a runaway match is really unlikely. In fact, there are a number of great matches going down at this time. If I'm not mistaken, the majority of the matches will be played at this hour, which will inform us of a lot of what the rest of the bracket is going to look like. Also playing at this time, we've got BG and 88LV, and also Peak versus JST. And then at 15 UTC, we'll be casting here. It'll be Drago with Bulbaritos casting Song versus TR. I will be playing at that time. Oh, man.
In that match.
It's, I will say I am glad to be casting at this time rather than playing, because as you were describing, it is still really early in the morning. But I am so hyped for this match we're about to cast. Let me jump in game just to show the bracket that we're looking at here. Let's get a peek. Okay. Here we are. The bracket so far for 1V and 1021 from the round of 16 now to the quarterfinals. And in the previous round, 1V battled against 44E. That is a score of 54,500 to 24,500. That is a 30,000 point differential, which is a very solid victory. And in the same way, 1021 beat 1008, 44,000 to 28,000. A victory of that margin is very much I would argue, an uncontested victory, right? Like that is winning by multiple arcs worth of points above and beyond the opposing team. So both of these teams came into the round of 16 with a bang. Big wins. So now they advance to fight each other. And I don't think, I was going to say I don't think either team has actually had a loss, but that's actually not true. If we look at Blackjack's history, that's 1021, they actually did lose to Song by a shockingly small number of points.
200 points.
200
Nobody
points.
lost that match. One just had a W instead.
Wow. Yeah, that's a really, really... it doesn't get much closer to than
We
than
saw
that.
Song last week, too, how good they were.
Yeah. Yeah, Song is very strong. They are on the other side of the bracket. Over here now. And so that match that we were just describing took place before the round of 16. That is the group stage, the playoffs, leading up to this point. So Song is over here on the other side of the bracket. I have the pleasure of fighting them in a couple hours from now. But up against 1V, we've got 1021. And the record of 1V is, well, flawless. No losses.
Mm-hmm.
So 9-0, whereas 1021 is 8-1. The average score for 1021 is 64,835, which is a really high average score. And that is largely because in the group stage, the qualifiers, I think, were very one-sided.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be interesting to see that average kind of rerun for the, maybe a smaller subset of battles here, but 64,241 average score for 1V. I don't think either of us would say this match will be decided by average score, though.
No, if either of these scores go over 45,000, I'll be shocked. I'll be shocked.
So what do you think will decide this game, Drago? Will it be arcs? Will it be some special skill that a team brings that nobody expected? Will it be buildings?
So these are two technical teams, very technical. I don't think it's going to be done by any kind of chicanery when it comes to skills or anything like that. I don't think either team feels that they need to do anything super crazy to win this. I think that they know that they have a plan that will win this match and move them to the next round. Both teams feel that way. So it's going to be a matter of execution, I think. And really, to me, it's going to be a combination of two things. The ability to get to the middle and win at least one or two arcs and have a solid structure game. That's going to be the key to victory, I think, in this matchup. Both teams are very well known for having a strong structure game. The middle game is really where I think, again, it's going to get decided. If there's one team that really just dominates the middle, I think that may be the one that ends up being the victor. If it's a split down the middle, I mean, I may have made a 5,000 point way too high for that. It could be a 1,000 point game. That's how close these two teams are.
Yeah, that's perfectly fair. I think based off my experience playing against 1V, because I actually did play against them. In fact, you can probably see that in the group stage for the playoffs. 1V beat my alliance, TR, by about 9,000 points, which is a healthy margin of victory, right? More than the 5,000 point wager that you and I have placed, right? So I know from personal experience that they have a very strong mid game. I will make the estimate that in this game, we will see them push hard for mid. I think they'll probably try to get 3 arcs, and they will try to get probably as many arcs as they can fit into the match. I think. That's my guess. We'll have to see how the skills play out, right? Who uses to the death and when. But I think their mid game is so strong that I think they will likely lean on that.
You know, they have some pretty high scores even in the later parts. And when you see those scores be that high in the later parts of the season, it's because they're capturing arcs quickly. They're not holding them. So I would foresee whoever ends up capturing the arc throughout this match is going to cap it because they want more arcs. It's not going to be a hold the arc and strategically keep it for 15 minutes game. It's going to be a get reset, cap it, let's move on, let's get another arc.
Well, let's actually jump into the match itself. I think we can start to spectate, so I'm going to back all the way out, and then we'll re-enter Arc of Osiris League. Here it is, the matchup. 1V versus Blackjack. And let's get a look at the highlights. 1V will be playing in blue, 3 stars on that flag. That's 3 KVK victories, 10-21 in red. Look at the combatants on the screen for blue. Backup combatants also listed. Everybody at this point has 15 backups. Here is 10-21. Reminder, they will be in red. Both teams have a ridiculous amount of power. Power is not what will define this matchup. And the individuals on the screen for provisions, occupation. We'll say that is a large provision score, 9,840. Wow. Other key combatants now on screen. Provision score, 4,365. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I thought that 9,000 score was quite remarkable. Okay. The road to the championship for 1V, as we were seeing earlier, completely undefeated. And for 10-21, they did have one loss by 200 points to Song. A very close matchup. And now, win for Skin, Drago. This is it. Legendary City theme awarded to the 4 teams that advanced to the Final Four. When do you think you get that? At the end of the season, I suppose, huh?
Yeah, once everything's over. It might be before the grand finals. I'm not sure.
Okay. I'm sure everybody will be eager for their reward.
Yeah.
However, this match begins in 15 seconds. The calm before the storm. We'll be calling out as much as we can, as fast as we can. Simplify graphics will be off. And we're off to the races. The battle has started. We're now looking to see how many rallies are set. 5 so far. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. You have my attention here, and a part of what's caught my attention is that it's not just obelisk rallies. We're talking about outpost rallies as well. And there are outpost rallies on both sides here. So both teams opting to do something fishy with the outposts, either conveying troops or taking it. We both have talked about this before as being a bit of a downside. Drago, what do you think of outpost rallies?
This has become more and more of a common opener, and we've seen this with some of the bigger teams. They're doing it. When at the beginning of Ark of Osiris and the mode and the Osiris League season, we pointed out, and rightly so, that these structures only have 500,000 troop capacity, which means that when you rally them, it's also only a 500,000 troop capacity. So on face value, it's like, well, what's the point of that? It's not even a second full march with these guys being expanded to 330,000 troops, having maximum VIP or VIP 17 or something like that. What's the point of that? Well, I gotta tell you, I think we've been proven wrong when it comes to having that be a low value move, because what that does, not only does it get your troops across the march or across the map faster, but it also gives you troops that are harassing, or the ability to harass, behind enemy lines. Those outposts are critical. If you are harassing those the entire match, that's 30 points per outpost. That's 90 points a minute. That's huge. That's bigger than almost every other structure in the game. And then we just talked about it earlier in the cast. There's this little thing called provisioning, and you don't really need to have a full march to kill a provisioning march, do you?
Wait a minute. Did they forget to take their obelisk in 10-21? Oh my goodness, they did.
Said whoops.
Oh man, they were looking downfield making moves, and you don't always catch stuff on camera. I actually kind of feel bad, but it went the wrong way. You know, it's a small mistake, but a mistake that cost them some number of seconds on the obelisk. You can see the obelisk over here, 1 minute capture time, rally arrives. This is in part the difference between the closer obelisk and the far obelisk. It would be more fair to look at the far obelisk for both sides. 1:15 for blue before they can teleport, and 1:36 for red. So we're looking at about a 21-second differential here, which it's not that big a deal, except, wait a minute, is this match over? No. Okay.
What?
The rally did arrive. I was like, I looked away, and when I looked away, the rally arrived to claim the structure. I thought it was empty, and that was terrifying. But no, of course it's not empty, and of course the rally was there.
Yeah.
They did have a double C captain, but double C was good enough to stop that full T1 march. T1's used there to just move really, really, really quickly. And let's see now if these rallies on some of these structures are, in fact, coming through. Outpost rallies. OneV swung in with, I think, 3 of them in total. Might have canceled 1, but here they are now connecting, and boom, outpost.
They took it. Yeah.
Oh, Drago, I know what they're doing now. You know what they're doing? You know what they want?
Tell me.
In a world in which a match could be defined by 200 points, they want first capture points.
I mean,
is it possible? No,
I mean,
not for this one.
Any amount of points. That's 240 points if they do all 3 outposts.
Is it possible? I think they might have already got first capture on this. But either way, lighting all 3 of these blue, it feels like 1021 didn't have a plan for this, because they obviously left them empty. They just weren't expecting that to happen. So assuming the first occupation was already locked in, I think it might have been, actually.
It should be. Yeah, it should
Still,
be.
the continuous occupation score of 90 points per minute is non-trivial, with now a ton of downfield disruption. Not even being used for that, by the way. They took the building and they're like, oh, all right, well, now that I'm done with that, let me just smack my march into a city to get a free trip home.
Yeah, that's the play. I mean, I'm staring at the desert altar right now with only, what, I can't even see because of all the marches, 30 seconds left until this building opens. All the buildings will unlock for capture. And I will say 1V has quite a sizable force on the bottom lane here. However, 1021 is holding their own. They're on top of their building, getting ready to try and capture this. We always love to see the flush of color whenever these buildings unlock with 8 seconds left. Let's see who ends up capturing these desert altars, and then ultimately, if they're able to keep them to get those precious 750 occupation points.
Yeah, I think that in there you see 1V got both altars. Wow, and the Shrine of Life. Oh my. This is not looking great for 1021, who now has to reclaim some of these buildings. Not only all of their outposts.
I think they will.
But this altar is going to be a little bit difficult. It looks like, actually, I take it back. They wiped all the marches. I will say I really liked 1V's aggressive positioning on this altar compared to the positioning that 1021 had. But the funny thing about that is that although I liked 1V's physical position in the other side, actually 1021 might tap this for a moment. And they did.
Yep.
So first capture points are still available.
There.
I don't think it's going to be achievable to hold this, but I see a 1 minute 46 second timer here. Drago, let me ask you something. Did these teams use hard push? Did you see it activated?
They did. Yeah, they absolutely did.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't see it activate, but they absolutely did. I mean, the 2 minute timers on the buildings, the 2 minute timers on the obelisks that we saw earlier, that's hard push activated. It's normally a 3 minute capture. So just to do a quick recap, I mean, 1021 is pushed heavily on the top side. They have both altars, both shrines. If they can hold these, this is a good 1,000 points right off the bat that they can go ahead and snag.
The start didn't look so good for 1021.
It didn't. I was concerned. You know, 1V took multiple buildings right out the gate, but then it turns out that clean execution of your plan is worth more than quick execution of a plan, because now 1021 is the one with the structure advantage and probably the first capture points on the desert altar. Yeah, they're going to cap it. 45 seconds left, and there's no blue teams to be seen. They're already heading to the middle is 1V, and again, this is going to be a little bit of a pain for 1V. They've got the rally coming in. Let's see what kind of rally. It's an XY rally that can be easily swarmed down. If it was a Pakal Herald, maybe it would have been a little bit more effective, considering the fact that you have no field presence, just like in KBK, right? You have no field presence. You don't want to send a squishy rally like an XY. You want to send a Pakal Herald here. Look at this. I mean, they just don't have enough. I think, 15 seconds left? They're going to get it.
What I do find surprising is that this garrison is going to hold. It's a Guan Yu, man. Not the garrison we're looking for. And it's Alexander the Great's secondary, which I do find that unsurprising. First capture points now awarded. And that is a scoreboard in favor of the underdog, who now gets a garrison Xeno downfield.
4 altars for 1021 right now.
Okay. 4 altars for 1021. 1V going, wait, what? How do I deal with this? Wow. Okay. Garrison did make it down to the desert altar, but either didn't get swapped in or not for long enough to actually matter. Arc starting to form up, but obviously 1V with the bigger presence because 1021 was sneaking all those buildings. 1V now positioning around 1021, maneuvering them into a small position, a small ball, which has to now retreat, and it may have even been too late to retreat from that position. The fact that anybody in 1021 got caught out is extremely problematic, and look at that Guan train going choo-choo, baby, eating up all those marches with AoE. That is not the way you want to start a mid-fight. Sort of. I say sort of because now the train is reversed. Whoopsies. Yep. And they'll swing around and eat a march too. Oh, man. This is a spicy start of the game. Now the structures are evened up. So what will happen? Ooh, Xeno Garrison. Let's go. Very interesting to see the choices made by both teams. Double C getting in the fray, trying to get below 50% in order to get charge talents to quickly grab the arc. I don't know why else you'd bring a double C to the arc, right? Why else would you bring a double C to the arc and be there early?
I don't know.
Right? It's not like you were trying to get there. No.
Maybe to cap it and run with it. I don't know. You know, I love seeing quality plays, and I got to point it out. I know we're looking at the middle because that's where the action's about to be, but on the bottom lane, I got to point out, and I can't pronounce the player's name. Apologies to that player, but doing it the right way. So there was a rally on the Desert Altar bottom lane for 1V had the rally and 1021 was defending. Nobody else was around. There was no support for the rally. The player that was there to defend the structure just killed the rally to about half health, then started moving to the middle. That's the way to do it. That way now his 3 marches that he had there are now going to the middle. We have the fight starting right now.
Sort of.
Kind of.
They ran away.
Here we go.
And then they turned around.
That's a JST move.
I don't know what's going on.
I do. They pulled it back. Now it's time for the buffs to pop out. They're getting full value for their buffs. They wasted about 10, 15 seconds of 1V's buff.
I guess it's a 3-minute buff. This will be over before that buff runs out, I think. You know what I suspect they're doing, though? I mean, you might be right. You might be right that they're wearing down the timer. That is actually very valid.
Too.
So maybe they are wearing down the timer, and maybe they're just trying to get closer to where their own team can arrive.
Yep.
Make the enemy team walk further.
Yeah, they're
and then assume that this will be defined by who is left standing anyways, rather than who can quick grab the arc. But
on the top lane, Shiskel, they just got to come from the top now. There's a huge, wide open lane towards the arc now because of where they positioned.
I don't know.
This fight is looking a lot more blue than red, but a lot closer than I thought it was going to be, considering all of the structure things that were happening. Now, I will say 1V did take the Sky Altar just a second ago from 1021 on the top lane there, and they have a decent presence there with Guan Garrison. Look, we talked about it. Guan Alex is the one of, if not the #1 march used in Osiris League playoff system.
Yeah, there are so many different marches here also, which I find really interesting, the diversity of marches. I mean, I see Amanatori off to the side. I see a Chandra Gupta primary. I just saw a Guan Honda swinging around. I mean, there is some interesting stuff going on. A Guan Leo's in mid. But one thing is for sure. I mean, that's a blue
This
arc.
is looking very 1V-ish. Yep.
Exactly like I said at the start, I think 1V has a terrifying mid game.
They do. I mean, that's a solid punch. And I will say, I mean, they had more in the middle than did 1021. So, we've got 2 more marches coming in here from 1021. I'm not sure what they think they're going to do in that sea of blue, but they're doing something. They're going right through the middle there. I would have shifted definitely towards the structure game, and you can see 1V. They're taking the advantage now. They're going on the offensive with all those extra marches in the middle. They are coming around the bottom side and likely to attack the Desert Altar on the bottom lane and the Shrine of War on the top lane.
Yeah, this is going to be quite the train that moves in. Interesting that they're going to different sides, but I kind of get it, right? Like, you want to go back to the side that you're kind of on.
Mm-hmm.
Also, is there an opportunity to get to the Sky Altar? I don't think so. That's a long way to go.
No.
But they are kind of halfway there already.
I'd say that's probably going to be red by the time
I
they
think
get there.
I think that's right.
Yeah,
It is a
Dalwiga's
Jad
holding
Garrison,
strong. Yeah.
presumably a YSS secondary. No
Yep.
shenanigans with a Nevsky secondary, I
Here comes
assume.
another reinforcement from the top there.
Yeah, a little bit of rains, but there is also
There it
a
goes.
rally.
Yep.
That rally breaks. Structure captured. However, all that attention onto the what's called altar, it may have distracted them a little bit from the Shrine of War, which has a Guan captain. That Drago,
Ooh.
that's not what you want to see.
They need to fix that.
Oh,
But
it's empty.
There it goes.
Guan
Yeah.
got out. Guan said, "Nah, I'd rather not."
Hard pass.
Yeah, hard pass. I'd rather swarm it back.
Mm-hmm.
And now they swarm it back. Oh, and that's
an odd
part of the
choice.
value of using a Monotori in the field.
Mm-hmm.
Because even if,
It's going down quick.
yeah,
Oh, wow.
only had
Just
like
the
one
last
march
second.
in there, I think.
Yeah.
But even if you had field talents,
Yeah, there it goes.
throwing that thing into the garrison's not the worst, you know?
Exactly. And I think both teams have a plethora of Manatoris. I mean, even Jadwiga, to a certain extent, can do a little bit of fighting on the field, although she is a mobility garrison commander. But, having her on the field is never bad, especially in the forward front, because you can go ahead and pop her in any structure on the front line and be in really good shape. Now, this Shrine of War looks like it's going to go back and forth for a little bit. I think ultimately, obviously, 1021 will hold it, but more 1V coming down to continue the pressure. It is currently a 2,000 point game with 590 points per minute in favor of 1V versus 360 for 1021. So it's looking very good for 1V right now, because not only do they have the points per minute going in their favor, but they also have a 3,000 point arc sitting in their back pocket, working its way over to nothing really right now because it's on the ground, but eventually they'll move it over to one of those buildings and capture it. And if I was 1V, I would capture it, just simply because, I mean, look how dominating they were in the middle. As long as they can, really hold that structure game a little better than they did before, I think they'll be in good shape.
I generally agree here, and oh man, the fact that 1021 had such a good start means that, yeah, they lose the arc. Sucks to lose the arc.
They had a little buffer.
But they got buffer. They got half an arc of buffer. That's nice. Keeps the match close. Anybody's game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm looking around too as well. I really want to pay attention to these provisions, because you pointed out early, and rightly so, that 9,000 provision points is a serious number. It's not a joke number. Like, it's for real. So I'm looking around at the red team, and I'm not really seeing, for 1021. See a couple farming marches out there, but nothing too crazy. I'm really thinking, well, top lane a little bit more, but I will say, I think, here we go. Sky Altar taken on the bottom lane, although it's about to go back towards 1V, I believe. That Jadwiga is looking very strong though.
Jad Garrison really does a lot of work. I am very impressed.
That's
I
the
am
play.
very impressed. I'm actually surprised to see a Zenobia here on behalf of 1021. I mean, Zeno is very strong, don't get me wrong. But it seems like a lot of teams these days are running the Jad instead.
Mm-hmm. The map's starting to turn red again, Shiskel. I mean, man, 1021
Very
has
red.
such a strong structure game. It's insane to see.
I think they got to ride the structure game.
Yeah.
I really think they're going to get
Grab
outmatched
one or
in
two
mid.
arcs and then
I mean,
just
they
win the
certainly
structure
got
game.
outmaneuvered in mid earlier. And I think they're probably also just outgunned. So, given how shockingly successful they've been at the structures game, and I say shocking because, like, 1V is the heavily favorited team.
Mm-hmm.
So, you wouldn't expect anything to feel really one-sided one way or another, but it feels like the building game is just really in favor of 1021 right now, whereas the arc game is really in favor of 1V. So I would just kind of hope that 1021 can find a way to lean in on the building game, given that the arc game does not seem to be in their favor. And there they go. 1V scored
just
the arc. They know.
captured
1V
Yep.
knows. 1V
They
knows,
need those
man.
arcs. They're gonna
Yeah,
need those
just
arcs.
let's just rack them up. Rack up as many arcs as we can. And maybe, by virtue of being lower on points, due to the extra energy recovery mechanic that's in play here, maybe there will be more ability points to use for 1021 that could help them sway a mid-fight.
Maybe one more ability, one more small ability like a war drums or something. I think that's certainly valid to bring up. Right now, though, another thing to bring up, they're up 230 points per minute against 1V right now. So that 1,000 point differential that you see on the screen right now, that could easily be cut in half at least by the time we have this next arc coming around, which again at 7.5 minutes, this middle fight's going to likely pop off maybe 2.5 minutes from now. So they're pushing hard on these structures right now, and again taking that Shrine of Life on the top, and with 1 second left, now generating points from that Shrine of Life is 1021, attacking the Shrine of War as well with heavy reinforcements. That XY Nevsky is so good at dropping that Xeno. It's going down so quick.
What they might think is better? Is this Chandragupta Burt? I think it is.
Where's it at?
Chandragupta.
I need to see it in
Who's
my
the
life.
secondary? Nevsky.
Yeah. Chandra Nevsky's basically considered to be one of the better rallies, but I will say I think XY pumps out more damage more quickly, but I think Chandra does a better overall job because of the health bonuses and the health debuffs.
I really wanted to see a Burt rally, man. I was hoping that we might see
all
one.
want
That's
things
why I
just
had to go peek and see what kind of rally did they run. But no Burt yet.
Burt Freddy, there you go.
Hey, man.
With
Hey, don't
museum
hate
buff.
the single target damage that comes from that rally,
There it
okay?
is. That Shrine of War was captured.
Yeah. I think the structure game is good here, but I also think that it is really difficult to run a structure game against such a strong team. You know?
It is, but they're doing it. I mean, they're up 310 points.
They're
per
doing
minute
it by
right now.
necessity. I mean,
Okay, now it's down to 1 something, but still, yeah. I mean, we're looking at a really solid disruption of structures. And again, we said it at the beginning when you asked me, what's going to really come down to? It's going to be a solid structure game, and it's going to be capturing at least one, maybe two arcs, and you've got the win. And there's more arcs to come. I mean, we got 5.5 minutes until this next arc comes. 1V is already positioning towards the middle. 1021 starting to do the same, maybe a little bit behind what 1V is, but with 5.5 minutes left until this arc spawns, they've got plenty of time. They can go ahead and get set up the way they want to. What I'm really interested in, Chisco, and I'd love for your opinion on this. What skills do you think are going to be used in the middle this time?
ooh, man.
On the
It's
spot,
so
baby.
hard to say. Do they use to the death now? Do they save it? What's the play? I think the problem with waiting is that you don't really want to risk the other team using it and getting control of the arc and setting the pace of the game, right? Such that maybe the last one won't be as relevant. I don't know. I mean, do you think I think that 1V is going for many arcs here. I think they're going to go for 4 arcs if they can swing it. So if 1V is going to go for 4 arcs, do you actually burn to the death on the second arc? I feel like you probably just plan to use the healing ability, or you even hold your points and just wait to see what the enemy does, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, in an ideal world, that would be perfect, Chisco. I think though 4 arcs is ambitious. These middle fights are not going to be a cakewalk. Even the last one where we saw 1V kind of dominate towards the end of it, it was kind of back and forth there for a little bit, and there was a big scrum for a minute and a half almost 2 minutes, and it took
I
them
don't
another 3,
know.
4, 5 minutes to capture it. I mean, they
I
dropped
don't
it in the middle.
know. I'm inclined to believe that if anybody could pull off 4 arcs, it's gonna be 1v.
Oh wow,
I
they have
just
a William,
having
Desert Altar on top lane,
experienced
Chisco.
personally how
It may go down.
dominant their mid game is. Maybe I am over indexing on what that could look like, but I really have concerns. Look at this. It's an E-Song. What an interesting choice. E-Song Trajan. They just
To
trying to
pump out
bait
the-
people into
yeah.
hitting that?
Either that or just to pump out Trajan's skill more, or his buff.
What in the
I mean,
world?
YSG is a rage machine. You know that.
You do know that I have been kind of like low-key crushing on the Trajan E-Song combo for quite some time, right?
Well,
Like,
yeah.
it
yeah,
could
the
be good.
flip,
It could
right?
be good. And I've never tested it because, like, you know, who has an archer leadership gear just lying around? Like, not me.
Not this guy.
But, okay.
I mean, structures are even. It's literally a less than 200-point game right now, and the middle fight is about to go down. 10-21 positioning very strongly towards the temple there, Chisco. And I mean, building's still under harassment from 10-21 on 1V. Now, I will say 1V did a little bit of the same, but a little bit less support for them, although it is starting to come in.
Yeah,
Ooh, they
there's
may
a
take
few
that
rallies
Skyaltar.
kind of running that are just like,
Yeah.
it's just like you throw them out there and they let them run just to see what happens. And I guess because both sides are doing that, neither side is disadvantaged in mid. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're kind of hoping to catch one of these structures out at some point in the game without a proper captain or without enough troops in it. But neither side has made that error, it would seem, up to this point. Look at this formation from 1V.
It's the V formation. No, that's concave formation. They're
It-
blocking everything.
Yeah, there's no walking past them, that's for sure.
Yeah.
What an
And
interesting dance
10-21
going on here.
repositioning as well. Yeah.
What an interesting dance.
It's like watching
They're all
fish in
lining
water.
up here. Oh, they zig, they zag. It's which team is going which way. God, it would be so funny to be a fly on the wall in their voice chats right now.
Man.
What is going on? Uh-oh. Uh-oh, they're caught out. They are caught out.
Yep,
They got to
somebody
retreat.
went AFK.
Oh, okay.
There we go. Come on. Back it
And
up.
that one march. Oh, I thought it was going to start the fight, but it didn't. 1 minute and 14 seconds till the arc spawns. You know, they are jockeying for position this
Yeah.
whole time rather than actually starting to fight,
They're trying to
which
cut
is
off the
interesting.
reinforcements
There's
here,
a
too. Look
clean
at that.
cut in, turns around. Somebody targeted them back. Did they get baited? Nope, turns around. Over here, turns around. I mean, there's more blue on the red side than red on the... I can't.
I mean,
Okay.
it's a cluster right
Oh,
now.
and that is an
It's-
engage.
it's
That
also
is an
a-
engage for
yeah.
sure. There it
Here
is.
we go. Here we go. All right. Skills. Let's see.
Mystical. War drums. Only one side
it.
used war drums?
Light. Very light.
Lot of healing. Somebody used a healing ability.
Yep.
Big time.
That was one. I think that was 10-21.
Yeah. That does not surprise me. I think
And that's a
with that
great play,
ability,
by the
if
way.
1021
great
popped
play.
it and the other side didn't, it's possible they win this fight.
Yeah.
Big time. That's a big commit of points.
That was, well, it's 4 points. So that was a huge health bonus for the red team. And they had enough players there to really soak it up and take advantage of it. I think that was a solid play, especially considering 1V did not use to the death. That gives them a decided advantage, I think.
Yeah, I like this play. I mean, they're both holding on to the death for a rainy day.
Oh, wow.
And that rainy
It's
arc
coming.
may be coming
That
soon.
rainy day is coming quick.
But 1V's got the arc and arc carriers down. Folks
Man.
from 1021 all over that side of the temple area as well. And this is the part where things get really awkward, Drago, because I said earlier that I think 1V is just so ridiculously dominant in middle.
Mm-hmm.
And I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
I think you're wrong. For what you're about to say.
I don't know. Who's
It's
winning this
getting
mid fight, man?
It's getting red. I will say, though, 1V has on the back end of this taken the Desert Altar and Shrine of Life on the bottom lane. So if they do lose this mid fight, which to me,
Oh,
I'm
wow.
seeing a
Maybe
lot
they
more
are
blue.
losing it.
Yeah, a lot more blues going back. I think that
Ooh,
heal was
okay.
really, really decided.
Okay.
They won't have as bad of an impact because they
Okay.
did take
I
the
thought
Desert Altars.
1V was
Yep.
winning that, but okay. 10-21.
With
Wow.
That heal
Yoinking the
was
arc
critical.
on the team that is the favorite as indicated by the Oryx of the people. Here we go.
Now on the back end, they lost
10-21,
everything.
running that arc home.
Look at that. 4 altars, 4 1v, 1 shrine left for 10-21. They've got some work to do. This could be something that could change the game. I mean, this is not something that I think 10-21 expected to lose. All of their structures on the back end there. 1v did keep the pressure up. They had 4 rallies going during that mid fight.
It might have cost them the arc, but they did it. So will it have gained them enough is the question.
Yeah.
1 altar back in the hands of 10-21. On the opposing side, Swarm is in. The pieces falling back into place here for 10-21. I think they'll get this. Could be wrong.
10-21 start. Yeah, they're starting to harass the outpost now. They are seeing that this is going to come down. I mean, I think I definitely won this bet. Just go less than 5,000 points is 100%
Yeah,
chance.
it's gonna be a close one.
And they're seeing this. Blackpink is looking to, or Blackjack is looking. There's 2 teams from this kingdom, guys. One just lost, but Blackjack is in the control right now. They don't have the score control, but they've got that 3,500 points from that arc in their pocket, and they're trying to get any point that they can. They just grab that outpost. They're shifting around to try and grab this Desert Altar from 1v, which I don't think is going to happen. 1v very solidly positioned. They need to get their Sky Altar back, which is working on it, but 1v is pushing very, very quickly towards that Sky Altar with multiple marches to reinforce. 10-21 has to take this back right now, or they're going to be in another 2 minutes of fighting with all these reinforcements popping in. There it is.
There it is.
To 10-21. They're
going to have to swap the captain and hold it, but yep, there's the Jad. The Jad was swarming. I saw that earlier. Okay. 10-21. I'm not going to say they've totally stabilized it, but they seem to have found some stability here in the board. So that means that 1v is now the team on the back foot. I mean, this is the kind of Ark of Osiris League matchup you want to watch. And by the way, if you like watching Ark of Osiris League matchups, consider subscribing. This is the official Rise of Kingdoms channel. And also, Drago and I have channels linked in the description. You can check those out. Man, this is crazy.
Man, I'm loving this. I'm loving every
I saw you take that big sip of tea or coffee or
yeah, I mean, I'm getting it.
Take it in.
I'm getting it in.
Big pressure, by the way. It's a Shrine of War.
Yeah,
this is a lot coming in here.
Oh man, they've got a rally going to the outpost again. Does 1v this top outpost for 10-21 has a rally going right by that Shrine of War? An XY rally. Looks like they're going to try and start to get the outpost game back in swing. Sky Altar going down again in favor. That looks like maybe a miss reinforcement from 10-21. They got plenty of marches around there that could have reinforced that rally or that garrison. But here comes 10-21.
You know, sometimes you just end up with a lot of the same people that are fighting in the field as are in the garrison. And being a captain myself, I know the pain of having you're the captain and it's your high health marches that are outside the garrison as well. So it's not like you can swap in your own march, even though you want to sometimes, you know?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I'm aware. Now the Desert Altar flipping. I mean, 1V's doing exactly what they need to do. They're starting to disrupt the 10-21 side to minimize the impact of this arc going in favor of 10-21. So I mean, I think that 1V's doing exactly what they need to be doing. They're even pulling back a little bit. After capturing the Shrine of War, they could have left those marches there and just decided, okay, we're going to keep this. 10-21, on the other hand, doing a little bit of a counter punch. Looks like a rally's incoming to that Desert Altar with some forces that were at that Shrine of War, which is now back in 10-21's hands, already at the Desert Altar. Such a good job of positioning their troops. And these are not all Cav guys. I see an Ethelfled floating around with Trajan right there, and he's already at the altar too. So, I mean, they're doing it the right way. Let's see if 1V can hold off and keep at least this extra Desert Altar for one more minute maybe. They've got plenty of troops that they can, and they took the Shrine of War back again on the top side. My goodness, these are going back and forth and back and forth.
Yeah, it's why I said they have found stability rather than they have stabilized. Because all it took was one big shove from 1V, and they're knocked off balance again here. I mean, 1V, when you get them all in one place, man, it's pretty terrifying. And they're all in really hitting a couple places all at once here with a lot of punch. And it's very difficult to deal with. I think the YSS primary captain with Theo is kind of an interesting choice, though.
It's working.
I mean, you'll take what you can get, right? Not what I would have expected them to have available, though, for a downfield capture. And maybe just like they weren't expecting to get the capture,
Yeah, I do see what you're saying. I will say that 1V does have solid presence at this Desert Altar. They're going to keep it, and they're going to start generating some points.
Yeah.
They're already up by almost over 2,000 points right now, which was a big swing from what that middle fight started at. It was basically even, with maybe even 1021 having a 200 or 300 point advantage. So 2,000 point swing during this middle fight / aftermath. Two outposts are in blue right now, and looks like 1021's trying to take those back while still trying to defend all their altars, all their shrines here on their main line. This Desert Altar looks like it's finally going to go down back in favor of 1021, but it's going to be another second there. There it goes. Now it's a little bit evened up. Let's see when they capture this arc. That's what I'm looking at. I'm staring at this arc, looking to see if he moves.
I think that 1021 knows that they're maybe not favored in the mid-fight. And so their game plan is probably just to have one last arc and to have it be a to-the-death arc.
Yep.
And it's just going to be win for skin, Like you win that fight, you win the skin. That's it. I think that's what it's going to come down to.
Man, it's now a 3,000 point match. So this arc effectively knots it back up. Right now, the points per minute total 590 versus 270 in favor of 1V. So, I mean, every minute that goes by with the current points per minute structure, that arc becomes less and less valuable. Right now, it's a 3,200 point game. So, I mean, again, this is going to be basically a wash. They did win the middle, but really great job by 1V to really take these structures on the back end of it from 1021 and turn the points per minute tide in their favor. Now 1021 looking to do a counter punch here, but I think their reinforcements for that rally going towards these structures are a little behind.
I will say, I mean, if you're fighting against 1V, I know this might sound weird, but like you would actually feel pretty good, in my opinion, having it come down to one last to the death arc. Like they're such a strong team, as is 1021, but maybe I'm just speaking from my own experience, but I would still feel really good about being in this position if I was in 1021. Like this is almost exactly where you want to be, right? You like prevent them, the 1V favorite team, by virtue again of the votes of the people with their coins in the in-game betting systems. By the way, double C captain, that's really awkward. Nevsky captain. We've got some cogs in the machine here, not quite turning correctly. There we go. There's the Jad. They got caught out without a Jad for a bit, and it's actually going to cost them the structure here. So that's a pretty big deal.
Yep.
That is a pretty big deal in a matchup this close.
Yeah, that Sky Altar is so critical to keep, especially considering your opponent's holding an arc right now. Speaking of which, that arc effectively is now the game tire. It is the game tire right now. It's a 3,500 point game. So that is going to effectively knot this thing up. It may come down to that last arc like we talked about and provisioning. That's going to really be the critical thing. And which team had the 9,000 point number, Chisco? Was it 1V?
I believe it was 1V.
Yeah, that may be it. That may be the thing that ends up winning them the match. Even if they lose the arc in the middle against 1021, that could still do it.
It's really hard to say kind of how this is going to unfold from this point.
Man, it's so back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, this is here's what's going to happen, though. I think there is something we can say, right? What we would hypothesize is that at the end of the 5-minute timer, which you can see in the upper left of the screen, I would expect that this arc is going to get captured. That means there will be just over 15 minutes remaining in the game. The arc will spawn in about 8 minutes, which means there'll be about 7 minutes to go and score the arc.
Yep.
So what I think is happening now is all just trying to get a tiny bit of edge for this final arc battle.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, it's going to be whoever gets this arc that defines the match. All of this is just for entertainment purposes. Because neither side probably is going to make such a mistake that they would give an arc's worth of points from buildings. Unless, Drago, I'm making an assumption here, unless the provisioning is way off. In which case, this could secretly be a much different match than what we see, right? There could be some amount of provisioning that just swings this thing big time. But I don't know that it's an arc worth of provisioning above and beyond what the other team is doing. So I really feel like if the arc knots up the score and makes it anywhere close to even 1,000 points within even, 2,000 points within even, it's still going to be probably just that final arc. Win for skin, baby. That's where it's going to be.
I love that term. So yeah, I mean, I'm looking again at the provisioning, and it is looking fairly equal. I will say that 1V does have a harasser on the back line on the bottom lane for killing those marches, but it also looks like 1021 is bringing out full T5 siege units, and with the march that they're using to kill with, William basically has like 10% health, so it's not quite doing the job that it's looking to do, but it's probably done some work with having his health that low. Looking at across the map again, I mean, it's literally equal across the board. Points per minute is equal across the board.
So I just saw Heaven's Grace pop up on screen and Insatiable Desire. I think the Heaven's Grace was from the mid fight, triggered by somebody just activating Insatiable Desire. Does that sound right?
Well, no, because Insatiable Desire was used for the 1v side. So, well, and unless the other team can trigger the one, who knows? They just need to put the stuff up whenever
the notifications don't always trigger at the exact moment that they happen in game. Okay, well, I was a little worried about a misclick on a Heaven's Grace. I was like, you do not want to throw your Arc League game. But we didn't see any healing numbers pop up.
Conspiracy theories that would abound.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Well, here we are.
Yeah, 10
Drago, I mean, this is it. This is it. The anticipation, man. So in less than a minute and 30 seconds, I assume, the carrier is going to score the arc. I don't know why they're waiting at this point, actually. Why would you wait at this point? There's no reason to. There's only one arc left. Either way.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a matter of how much time do you have to actually win it. And really, it could be a positioning thing. Like right now, they're still defending their structures. I will say consistently across the entire match, 1V has out-rallied 1021 2-1 at least. Every time I'm looking at the rally meter, it's 4, 5, 6 rallies for 1V versus 2, maybe 3 for 1021. Maybe that's by design. I don't know, but I will say that 1V is always mobile. They're moving marches down the field. They're using rallies to do so. They're always rallying the structures on the 1021 side.
Relentless Siege
being used. Very nice. Okay.
Oh, so what's happening now? Was that 1021 that used it?
Yes,
now we know why 1021 is holding, actually. Now we know. So what 1021 is doing is navigating to a world in which 1V can't predict when the arc will be scored, and thus feels like they can't spend their ability points down. And because 1021 knows exactly how long they'll have till arc and exactly how many points they can have at that time, they can start to use some of these abilities that give them an advantage, right?
Well, what they're doing, too, on top of all that, is they use Relentless Siege. That's basically a different flavor of hard push. They're going to start taking these structures. They're going to try and take these structures before. There goes the arc. They captured it.
Did you hear my concern? I was like, okay, we're down to like 20 seconds here. Yeah. Like, I'm starting to freak out. Are they going to remember to score the arc or not?
100%.
They did, but they didn't remember to put in a proper captain. They've got a double C at the 1021 Shrine of War, and that thing is just going to get popped.
I see Xeno on mine, but
you see Xeno. Oh, thank goodness. That's much better. But it might be.
I mean, that's getting a heavy swarm.
It's still. This
Ooh,
is the
timely
challenge of
reinforcement.
defending a building like the Shrine of War, by the way. In a Shrine of War, you can only have 1 million.
Yep.
Well, each swarming march has 330,000, so
That's
you
3
can do the
million
math there.
troops,
11
yeah.
swarmers plus rally
Yeah.
is pretty tough.
It's still red though. 1021 doing a good job, but I mean they're melting.
And that's
through those
actually really
reinforcements.
impressive that they
Yeah,
held
they're-
that as long as
those
they have
reinforcements
here.
are going-
There
going
it
down
is.
quick. Yeah.
There's a Jad Swarmer on the outside here. Jad didn't make it into the garrison, so I bet they're trying to get that swap. Also, a Monitori kind of chilling on the outside, probably knocking on the door, saying like, hey, give me space in that thing, darn it.
1021 has to
captain.
take some of these structures. They have to. They used points on Relentless Siege right before capturing that arc for a reason. They want to capture some of these 1v structures before they go into the middle here with 7 minutes until the arc spawns. 1v 1021 has 1 march sitting in the middle.
Oh man. Are you able to remind me or able to look up what exactly Relentless Siege does?
It's hard push, so it lowers the time it takes to get your structure, and I think it increases the counterattack damage of a rally. I think that's what it does, but I'm not 100%.
So it's not something applied to a specific building. It's just a thing the team has activated for all structure capture. Well, good news. They do need to take their Shrine of War back, so they'll get you value from that then, right?
Yep.
Oh man.
Yeah, I was right. So to read the description, upon victory, the time required to take the occupying structure is a minute less, which is basically hard push.
That's very powerful.
But also, when your alliance launches a rally attack, the rally's counterattack damage is increased by 50%. So I was right. 50% counterattack damage increase
on the rally.
All rallies for 1021 now.
I mean, only valuable if the rally's getting swarmed, really. I mean,
which they will be.
You might not even be doing counterattack damage, by the way, to the garrison. Because often when you rally, there's a swarm also there, and the swarm might have hit first, right?
No. So whenever you're attacking anything, you are doing normal and counterattack damage to your target. Whatever that target is, you're going to be doing normal and counterattack damage regardless of what's hit it first.
If they attack you back, like if you're not being attacked, you don't do counterattack damage.
Everything's
you would only do
back by counterattack damage.
So I think though, well, either way, everybody's on their way to middle. The structure game at this point is not quite solved, but I don't see a rally over here. So I'm in, and I don't think there's that much time left on Relentless Siege either, is there? Probably not.
I think it's the same as hard push, right?
10-minute ability, right? Lasts a while.
Now you're making me. Now you're making me. my OCD is gonna kind of crack in here.
Wait, how does it work? How does it? Yeah, I mean, I forget exactly when they activated it. I guess there will be some time. I mean, I just don't see that. Let me interject with a different idea. I don't see the value of rallying structures right now, man. I don't get it.
I do.
We both know this arc is it. Man, this is it.
For sure.
You think the structures could change the outcome here? I don't know that they can.
I think points per minute, and when you use Relentless Siege, it's going to be easier to take those structures without having to commit as much to it. Now, I will say, looking at the middle here, 1V is pouring everything in. Well, what happens if 1021 decides, okay, well, you're going to pour everything in. We're going to give you a good middle fight. And that may be why they held it to the very last second. We don't necessarily have to take this arc. We just need to make sure that you don't get it. And if we have your buildings on the back end of all that and we're reinforcing properly, that's the win.
Yeah.
That might be the play. And right now, the Shrine of Life in the top lane is going to go down in favor of 1021. So that's building 1 already on the red. There it goes.
Yeah.
So now Sky Altar here, bottom lane, looking a little 50-50.
I'm just not excited about 80 points per minute.
It doesn't have to be exciting.
I guess it's 800 points if you held it the entire time. Not even though, because there's still a capture window.
But that's points that they're not generating during that capture window. So it's a shift either way.
I mean, it's. I guess we'll see. The Shrine of
Life. This is the
Life.
last arc. We know that, and 1V is definitely out positioning people to the middle by at least 1.5 to 1 right now. I think 1V definitely has a decided player advantage in the middle. We have 3 minutes until this arc spawns. This could be a little late for 1021. If I was 1V, I may engage right
Yeah.
now, and that's might be what
Yeah.
they're doing. They're positioning at the top here, just like
Yeah.
they did last one. To the death is going to be expected, and if you've got your marches there concentrated more quickly than your opponent, you pop to the death as soon as you engage and you roll.
Yeah. This is really dicey.
This
1021 needs time, and for whatever reason, 1V is giving it to them. 1V does not need time. They might be looking at the clock, though. Maybe they're doing something. There's no... I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, these teams are so skilled. It's really hard to know what they're thinking when they're making these choices. It's next level gameplay, man. They see the same thing and think about it very differently. And that's why they're at the top, both of these teams.
By the way, no rallies for 1021 right now. 0. 3, 4.
I wouldn't expect it. I really would expect everybody to be in middle. I really would.
Now 1V. Well, now 1021's looking pretty darn good. If you zoom out, those pyramids are looking a lot more dense on the red side than I originally anticipated. This is gonna be
it's evened up, man.
Let's go. Yes.
It's evened up, man.
This is looking good.
I don't know what this position dance is, but it makes me very uncomfortable. Oh, there it is. There's the break.
Wow, look at the
Okay.
positioning.
Mystical formation.
They're gonna try and
War
sandwich.
drums. Mystical formation again. Both teams using it
To the death.
to the death.
10-21.
This
And 1V.
is it. All in for the arc of Osiris League Season 5, final
Look at how
arc
many
of
1V
the
marches are
game.
going back already.
1v
Oh no.
versus 1021.
Oh no.
This will decide, most likely, who advances and who goes home with their bags packed. Oh, man.
You know what I'm seeing on the back end of this mid fight? Don't change the channel. Don't move. I'm going to describe it to you. The back line for 1021 is going to flip blue here in just a moment. The Shrine of War has already done so. There's Desert Altar in the bottom lane about to happen as well. There's absolutely nobody there for 1021. So 1021 needs to win this, like, bad. And maybe that's the reason why they pop Relentless Siege. They want to be able to take their structures back, knowing that they're going to lose those structures on the back end of this fight, but possibly win the arc. 10 seconds left, Chisco, until this thing spawns. The middle fight is still back and forth. Ooh.
We got a proper rager in the middle, man.
Oh my goodness.
Nobody will be left standing at the end.
1021 is going to need this arc to win. I said earlier they just need to make sure 1V doesn't get it. They're going to need this arc to win.
I think no team will be able to prevent the other from scoring this arc. I think with 7 minutes, boom, 1021, quick hands, moving the arc.
Oh my goodness. This fight is still 50-50 in the middle.
Is it?
It is. I see a lot of blue still there. I was expecting
I
to
see a lot of
more
blue
red.
still.
Yeah.
Feels pretty blue to me.
It's
But
looking
it's hard to
50-50
say.
me.
I was wrong about the last one. I'm not normally wrong, but I definitely was wrong.
This
So
fight's going to go another couple minutes before it gets
it's just hard to say, man. This is really stressful.
We got blue marches coming from the bottom side where 1021s are supposed to be coming from. We got from, I mean, all sides. Just everybody's just coming from everywhere, trying to get their Desert Altar back. They did get the Desert Altar back. That's good for 1021 and the Shrine of War. That's going to minimize that points per minute. Right now, it's a 200-point game in favor of 1021 points per minute.
I just send everything to the middle. Oh, I know I'm
You just wanna
tunnel
do it.
visioned on this arc, but
Just
like
wanna do it.
I just don't care about the structures. This arc has to go to the
Structures do
side
matter,
that needs
though.
it
They
to
do.
win. I mean, you need this to win. Whoever gets this wins, right? And I think it's going to be 1v maybe. I don't know.
1021 grabbed it at first. It's moved over. Yeah, 1021's got it again.
1021's
And they're
got it,
moving
but
with it.
is it blue? Is it red? Like, I can't tell who's got more forces here.
I think it's 50-50. I think 1v has a little bit of an advantage. I think
War
they've
drums
also
just
been
activated for
reinforcing.
1021.
That's odd.
Oh no,
Yeah.
they're full. They know they have to get this. I mean, everything you can put into this fight, they're doing it. Leave nothing behind, efficient, inefficient, or otherwise. This is it, man. And I feel like blue is getting the edge here. Arc is down.
So 1v has the lead now by 140 points.
I think at
10
the end of the day, the lead is not going to matter, man. I think it's all about this arc.
I think it's the arc, and it's if this
Pull
arc
the
doesn't get
garrison
captured in provisioning.
captains. Send them all to middle. I don't know, man. This is, I mean, this is it. And I can't believe that they actually have been able to basically take their whole forces and bring them back to middle. Like they're all coming back to mid. We're just going to do that whole mid fight all over again with fresh marches.
Oh my goodness.
It's
This is just back
unusual
and forth.
to see a fight at this caliber of play end up so even.
Now 1021 is just pouring so many troops, and it's on their side of the field. They have the arc as well. They are running with it. This could be 1021.
1021 could take this game now.
Yeah, this could be 1021's
They
arc
could take
and
this
game to
game.
win. Yep. They just need
They
to
could
run
take
it
this
back.
game, man.
But Jessica, there's only 4 minutes left.
That's time.
Only
That's
4
enough time.
minutes. It is if you're able to get it and run with it right now.
Oh my
Look
gosh, you're
how
right.
many
Maybe
blue
they won't
teams.
score the arc.
Yeah, this is going to take a long time.
Oh no.
And now
You're
1V
right.
has it. Yep.
1V is now in damage control. I think they don't have the presence to contest arc.
Is
I think they have to stall arc.
Here comes Insatiable Desire, 1V. They know. They're like, as long as we keep provisioning and stop 1021 from grabbing this arc.
1021 has the arc. It's
They've got
moving.
A beeline. They've got a beeline. Go. And that's a full march, by the way. Oh, now it's half march. That got instantly targeted by 1V.
Oh
1V
my.
taking that march down so quick.
You know? 1021 held the arc, and it's funny because I do feel like that was the right play. But did they hold the arc too
1V.
long?
Now has it. Could you imagine if 1021 had a movement speed skill slotted? Grab the arc, beeline it. I've seen that happen time and time again. Where
It does
works,
feel
it just
like
works.
maybe they used those war drums just a little too early. Like, it's hard to know that you would end up in
That's a flat
this
rolling with it
mess of
now.
a situation.
2 minutes 50 seconds, and that
It's
Ethelfled
enough
is
time,
moving.
Drago. That's enough time to score the arc, by the way.
That Ethelfled is. Oh yeah,
There is
definitely
time.
enough time if it doesn't get dropped 15 more times like it has been. This
Right.
Ethelfled is moving.
I'm just saying that if a
It's going down
carrier
the
has
field.
it and runs, we're still in the range of, like, you could score this.
Absolutely, 100% chance. It's now a 1,200 point game though in favor of 1V. Just give you a heads up. Structure game coming into play here.
They have to score the arc now.
Yep.
It has to be scored.
This is looking more and more like this is 1021's arc to lose, but they've got to kill the reinforcing marches coming in from the back end of 1V if they want to get a beeline from the arc carrier towards their side. There it is. They grabbed it. It's a double C. It's heading towards the war shrine here on the top lane here, and it's going fast. This may be it.
Oh,
Driscoll.
man.
This may be it.
They've
This
got a
may
clear
be
lane.
it.
There's the break. They're
He's
clear.
going.
They're clear of the mess, but they're not clear of the danger because coming down the other side, you've got a ton of 1V marches. They know, and that arc, they look like it doesn't have a lot of distance to go, but it is slow, and that is fast, and it is going to get there in
1 minute
time.
30 seconds. 1 minute 30 seconds. This is going to be critical. It takes 45 seconds to get to that Shrine of War.
They don't.
They can't afford to drop it.
Yeah.
And here comes
1V
Marches coming up
doesn't
behind.
need to score the arc. They just need to stop the arc.
Yeah.
And they don't even need to stop the arc for that long.
That arc is going to go down.
Dicey.
Oh my goodness. That
The
arc is gonna
word
go
I would
down.
use to describe this is dicey.
There it goes. It's down. 1021 has to get this right now. And
I
move
would
it
feel
forward.
pretty good about being in this position if I was 1V.
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
You're
1 minute
stressed,
left.
but this is you've got them right where you want them.
They've got it.
moving.
Oh, but it was somebody on the other side of the arc. Oh, that's a disaster for 1021. It is a double C moving. It's a double C.
It's down.
Is that double C Julius?
It's down.
No, that wasn't it.
There's not enough
Wow.
time now. I don't
Yeah,
think there's
30
enough time.
seconds. They've got
I don't
to
think
get
you
it
could
right
get
now
there.
and move it.
And even
That's
if you
the only way.
could, there's too many 1v here.
Wow.
I think 1v is going to pull out the victory here, man. But
But it's even
1021
farther
wants
back.
to give it a shot.
They're like
22
target
seconds
the
to
arc
get there.
carrier. Yep, it's down.
Okay, that's it.
Wow.
10
They
seconds to
had
pick it up. There's no way.
1021 had it in their grasp 10 seconds left. If they didn't wait so long, and again, I mean, it's obviously hypotheticals. If they didn't, if they did, if they didn't, if they did. Oh, this was 10-21's match to lose, and they just lost it.
Yeah, I think they could have won that. I really do. But it's very hard to say. If the timing had been different, a whole lot of things would have been different.
Sure.
And who's on top? It's 1V, baby. They pull down the victory from the Kingdom of Broccoli. Who knew? 1034.
Didn't know that was a thing.
Let's go. 3 stars on that flag, and they're looking for the Osiris wings. 1V advances. Wow, what a match. What a match. Drop those GGs in the chat. Occupation score slightly favoring 1V. Provision score slightly favoring 1V. I've never seen in my entire time playing Rise of Kingdoms a total kills score so even.
Yeah.
Ever. Yeah. More healed by 1021, but okay. Wow. What a game. By the way, if you have enjoyed this stream today, consider subscribing to the channel and throwing a like on the stream. Also, you can check out our channels linked in the description. Kingdom of Broccoli. Whoa. Okay. So, Drago, what in the world, man? They had the arc. 1021 had it, man. They had it.
They did.
And you were kind of right there that, okay, they might get the arc, but if they don't, if it's even just held in middle, it's game over. I didn't see that coming. I didn't think they'd be able to hold it off for so long.
You know, Relentless Siege ended up being basically a wasted skill, having seen how the rest of the match played out. Just looking at this, I think that there was such a good chance for 1021, but they just needed an extra minute or two, and that was entirely under their control. And they're going to learn from this. And it's one of those things where, what happens if 1V won that mid fight and ended up grabbing the arc before the 1021 folks did? Then it would have been the other way around, and 1V would have been on the back foot trying to capture that. I mean, who knows what would have happened? But I mean, wow, what a match. We were definitely blessed by just an amazing match to watch, literally a finger lengths away from 1021 taking the last arc and winning by 2,000 points, but instead losing by 2,200 points. That occupation score, I am surprised, honestly. I thought for sure 1021's occupation score would be higher than 1V. But I think towards the end there, those last 10 minutes where 1021 was just kind of like, okay, it's mid-time, right? I think they made up and maybe exceeded during that window, because I think for the majority of the match, 1021 kind of had the occupation score in their favor. And provision score, 6,200 versus almost 5,000. 1V did exactly what they needed to do. They did just enough to get that victory, and they stopped the arc carrier at the end. How brutal was that for 1021, and how awesome is that for 1V? 1V moving on to the next round.
Amazing match, man. Let's jump back to the caster's booth here. Actually, hold on. Before we go, let's look at the scoreboards and see the other matches.
Yeah, because there's a good one.
Okay, here we go. I got hit with verification. Happens to the best of us. All right. Final scores. BG beating 88 LV. Underdog victory, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep, I kind of saw that one coming too.
Okay. 42,000 almost. 41,923 to 37,506. Wow. And JST beating Peak, the former champions, showing they are maintaining those wings well. And the matchup we just watched, holy moly, so close.
Wow. That was such a great match. And I was keeping an eye on the BG match too, because I know that BG was the underdog in that match, even though, 88 LV is a solid team. You can see how good they did against what is a quality team against BG as well. But BG taking the victory, getting to the final four in the realm of Horus. Good job to them. Peak going down to JST. We all assumed JST was going to go ahead and get into the final four and ultimately possibly the finals, but they've got some solid competition in this realm to get to the finals. It's not quite as easy as it may have been last season. You've got 3 other really good teams in this bracket. Man, I don't envy any of these teams that have to play each other. I'll just enjoy watching
I
it.
mean, you look at the schedule and it's a crazy matchup.
That's right.
Either Song or TR is going to be playing against JST next week.
Jeez.
So that's a tough match. Good luck. And BG versus 1V. All top tier teams. My goodness. Now let's go back to the caster's booth and wrap up. It's been another crazy set of matches, and there's still one more match to play. In fact, I've got to go get ready because I'm playing in it. But Drago is going to be back at 15 UTC, actually just a little before that, right? With Bulburitos as well, and they are going to cast the matchup. Whew. Anything you want to share or thoughts you've got before we wrap up, Drago?
I don't know. I might need to take something to come down from that high I just got from watching this match. Man, what a crazy match. Back and forth all the way to the end. We called it. I mean, this is going to be a very close match. I won, by the way, if we're keeping track. That one there. So that being said, I'm looking forward to seeing every single one of you back here at 15 UTC. I will be joined, like Chiscool said, by Bulburitos. Thank you, Chiscool, for helping me in this cast, because I needed somebody to calm me down, because I was going to start screaming. And usually you're the one that's like the energy guy. I could not be pulled back from this match. It was so great. Just absolutely so incredible. And good luck to you in your match that we'll be casting live on this channel right here. So don't go anywhere.
Cool. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Throw a like on here. Again, our channels are linked below in the description. And until next time, you have fun smashing your enemies. We will see you in 45, 50 minutes. See you soon, everybody.
Take care.